Let me ask you something. What if the way you think about wealth is all wrong? What if the real reason you're struggling isn't because you're not smart enough or talented enough, but because no one ever told you the secret? See, wealthy minds don't work like everybody else's. They see things differently. They move differently. They win differently. And once you understand their secret, everything changes. Most people spend their entire lives chasing money, chasing success, hoping one day they'll make it. But deep down, there's doubt. There's fear. There's that voice that says, what if I'm not good enough? What if I fail? I know that voice. I've heard it. But let me tell you something, success isn't about who's the smartest or the most talented. It's about who's willing to see the world in a way most people never will. See, wealthy minds don't run from failure. They don't crumble under setbacks. They don't let fear decide their future. They move with a different energy, a different confidence, because they understand something that most people don't. It's not about working harder. It's not about waiting for the perfect moment. It's about shifting how you think at the deepest level. But here's the problem: most people are stuck playing by the wrong rules. They were never taught how to think like the greats, how to move like the successful, how to break free from the invisible chains that keep them locked in mediocrity. And that's exactly why they stay stuck. They feel like they're doing everything right, but something just isn't clicking. I get it. I've been there. I felt like a fraud. I've questioned whether I had what it takes. And for years, I thought success was about talent. But then I started studying the world's most successful people. I started learning the truth about mindset, entrepreneurship, personal growth. And what I discovered changed everything. Now, in this video, I'm going to show you exactly what separates the wealthy from everyone else. I'll break down the mindset, the habits, and the shifts that took me and countless others from struggling to thriving. And by the end, you'll see success in a way you've never seen it before. So stay with me, because the truth I'm about to reveal might just be the missing piece you've been looking for. Let me tell you something: wealthy minds don't wait. They don't sit around hoping for the right moment. They create the right moment. They understand that success isn't about luck. It's about alignment, aligning your thoughts, your actions, your habits with the results you want. Most people live on autopilot. They wake up, go through the motions, react to problems, and wonder why nothing changes. But listen, nothing changes until you change. The way you think, the way you see obstacles, the way you move through fear. That's the secret. Wealthy minds don't let emotions control them. They don't let fear stop them from making moves. They take control. Now let's talk about something real. Every single one of us has been programmed since birth to think a certain way. Your family, your environment, your experiences, they all shape your mindset. And for most people, that programming is designed to keep them stuck. You've been taught to play it safe, to avoid risk, to be realistic. And that's exactly why most people never break. You've got to reprogram your mind. You've got to start seeing money, success, and opportunity the way the wealthy do. Because here's the truth: you don't get what you want in life. You get what you believe you deserve. And if deep down you don't believe you're meant for success, you'll sabotage yourself every single time. Think about it. How many times have you had a great idea, a big goal, a dream that felt possible, only to let doubt creep in? What if I fail? But if I'm not ready, what will people think? That's the fraudulent feeling keeping you small. That's the mindset that kills dreams before they ever get a chance to live. Wealthy minds move differently. They don't let doubt dictate their decisions. They don't overthink every opportunity. They understand that every setback is a setup for something greater. They don't waste time worrying about failure, because they know failure is part of the game. It's how you learn. It's how you grow. Look at the most successful people in the world. They didn't get there because they never failed. They got there because they refused to quit, because they saw failure as feedback, not as a reason to stop. That's the psychology fact that separates winners from everyone else. It's not talent, it's not intelligence, it's resilience, it's mindset. Now, let's get practical. If you want to start thinking like the wealthy, you've got to do 3 things. First, you have to change your relationship with failure. Stop seeing it as proof that you're not good enough. Start seeing it as proof that you're pushing yourself beyond your comfort zone. Second, you've got to cut out negative influences. You cannot afford to surround yourself with people who don't believe in you, people who plant seeds of doubt in your mind, people who make you feel small. Listen, your environment shapes your mindset. If you want to win, you need to put yourself in rooms where winning is normal. And third, you have to take action before you feel ready. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. Stop waiting for confidence. Confidence doesn't come before action. It comes from action. The only way to overcome fear is to move through it. The only way to silence doubt is to prove it wrong. Wealthy minds don't sit around waiting for motivation. They create it. They understand that the fastest way to change your life is to change the way you see yourself. You are not a victim of your circumstances. You are the architect of your future. And once you start thinking like that, everything changes. So let me ask you, are you ready to shift your mindset? Are you ready to start thinking, moving, and winning like the greats? Because in the next part, I'm going to break down something even more powerful. The exact strategies wealthy minds use to build success from nothing. And trust me, once you learn this, you'll never see your potential the same way again. Most people don't realize this, but success isn't about what you do, it's about how you think before you do it. The wealthiest, most successful people don't operate by luck, talent, or even intelligence alone. No, they play by a different set of rule swirlers that most people don't even know exist. And if you don't learn these rules, you're always going to feel like you're working twice as hard for half the results. But here's the real problem: most people are conditioned to think in a way that keeps them broke. You ever wonder why some people seem to attract success effortlessly, while others struggle no matter how hard they try? It's not just about effort. It's about energy. It's about mindset. It's about the invisible patterns running in your subconscious that dictate your decisions, your habits, and ultimately, your outcomes. Let's break this down. The average person is stuck in a reactive mindset. They respond to life instead of creating it. They wait for the perfect opportunity instead of taking action now. And worst of all, they let fear make their decisions for them. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of stepping outside the box. But let me tell you something, the life you want is on the other side of that fear. You have to train your mind to see opportunity where others see obstacles. Wealthy minds don't panic when things go wrong. They don't complain when life gets hard. Instead, they ask the right question: how can I turn this into an advantage? That's the secret. The difference between winners and everyone else isn't that they don't face struggles. It's that they respond to struggle differently. Let me give you an example. There are people who, the moment they lose a job or fail at a business, immediately fall into self-pity. They tell themselves they're not good enough. That maybe success just isn't for them. But a wealthy mind sees failure as feedback. They use setbacks as data. They study what went wrong, adjust, and come back stronger. This is where most people get stuck. They take failure personally. They let one mistake define their entire journey. But listen, failure is not the opposite of success. It is part of success. Every single person who has ever made it, every entrepreneur, every world-class performer, every self-made millionaire has had moments where they could have given up. but instead they chose to keep going. And that's what you have to do. If you want to shift into a wealthy mindset, you have to rewire your brain to see setbacks differently. You have to train yourself to stay locked in, even when things don't go as planned. Because let me tell you something, there is no straight path to success. There will be roadblocks, distractions, even moments where you feel like nothing is working. But that's the test. Will you fold or will you push through? Here's a psychology fact that most people don't understand. Your brain is wired for survival, not success. That means when you step outside your comfort zone, your mind is going to try to pull you back. It's going to tell you to play it safe, to slow down, to avoid risk. But successful people, they train their brains to override that instinct. They push through the resistance because they know that everything they want is on the other side of that discomfort. Now, let's get real about something. The people around you, they can either lift you up or pull you down. If you're surrounded by negativity, are people who make excuses, who doubt you, who tell you to be realistic, that's going to rub off on you. The secret of wealthy minds is that they protect their mental space like their life depends on it, because it does. You have to make a decision. Are you going to let other people's small thinking keep you small? Or are you going to rise above it? The moment you decide that your dreams are bigger than other people's doubts, everything changes. That's when you start moving differently, thinking differently, winning differently. And listen, this is just the beginning. Because in the next part, I'm going to break down something even more powerful, the exact daily habits that separate the wealthy from the average. If you're serious about leveling up, you don't want to miss this. Because once you understand these habits, success stops feeling like a mystery and starts becoming a formula. Success is not a what-I'm decision. It's a collection of daily choices. And the biggest mistake people make, they think success is about what they do once in a while. No, success is built in the small, consistent habits that most people overlook. You ever wonder why two people can start with the same opportunities, the same talents, the same resources, and end up in completely different places? It's not luck. It's not fate. It's daily execution. The wealthy, the successful, the people who make things happen, they have a different approach to time, energy, and focus. They don't waste time on things that don't serve them. They don't let distractions control their day. They don't negotiate with their goals. But most people, they live in reaction mode. They wake up and let life happen to them. They check their phones first thing in the morning. They scroll, they consume, they distract themselves before they even give their dreams a chance to breathe. And then they wonder why they never feel in control. Wealthy minds don't start their day with distraction. They start with direction. So let me break this down for you. If you want to start thinking like the wealthy, you need to install 3 habits into your life immediately. And if you commit to these, you'll start seeing results faster than you ever thought possible. Habit number 1 on your mornings. Listen, the way you start your day determines your day. If you wake up and let stress, social media, or negativity be the first thing you consume, you've already lost the battle. Wealthy minds don't start their day on defense. They start on offense. They control what enters their mind first. Whether it's reading, meditation, exercise, goal setting, whatever fuels your energy and focus, you do that first. Because here's the truth, if you don't take control of your morning, someone else will. Your boss, your emails, your notifications. Most people wake up and immediately let the outside world dictate their emotions. But the most successful people, they protect their first hour like their life depends on it. Because it does. Habit number 2, cut out low-value distractions. You know exactly what I'm talking about. The endless scrolling, the toxic conversations, the things that eat up your time but give you nothing in return. Wealthy minds don't waste energy on things that don't move them forward. They are ruthless with their focus. You've got to start seeing your attention as currency. Every time you give your energy to something meaningless, you're taking that power away from your dreams. The average person spends hours every day consuming content that does nothing for their growth. But the wealthy, they consume with intention. They don't just watch, they study, they learn, they apply. And listen, this isn't about cutting out all entertainment. It's about priorities. The people who win in life don't have more time than you. They just use their time differently. Habit number 3, making comfortable decisions daily. And now, this one is big. Most people stay stuck because they only do what feels safe. They avoid discomfort. They wait for the right time. But wealthy minds, they run toward discomfort. They understand that growth only happens when you're uncomfortable. If you want to shift into a wealthy mindset, you need to start making bold moves. That means saying no to things that drain you. That means betting on yourself when no one else will. That means taking risks that scare you because you know that staying the same is the biggest risk of all. Here's the hard truth: if you're always comfortable, you're not growing. Every successful person has a moment where they had to step into uncertainty, where they had to trust the process before they had all the answers. And if you're waiting for the perfect moment, let me save you some time. It's not coming. The right time is right now. Now, let's talk about something deeper. Your environment is shaping you more than you realize. You ever notice how some people just seem to naturally level up in life? It's not just because they work hard. It's because they put themselves in spaces where success is normal. They surround themselves with people who think bigger, who push them, who challenge them. But most people, they stay in environments that reinforce small thinking. They listen to people who doubt them, who make excuses, who tell them to be realistic. But let me ask you, are you living for their approval or for your potential? Because you can't have both. Wealthy minds do something most people are afraid to do. They audit their circle. They distance themselves from anyone who drains their energy. They don't entertain negativity. They don't waste time arguing with people who don't want to grow, because they understand something powerful. Your circle is either pushing you forward or pulling you back. Now, here's what I want you to do. Take a serious look at your daily habits. Look at your circle. Look at how you spend your time. And ask yourself one simple question: is this leading me to the life I want or keeping me stuck? Because success isn't magic. It's math. What you do daily is a preview of your future. Change your habits, and you change your life. And listen, we're not even done yet. Because in the next part, I'm going to break down something that almost nobody talks about: the hidden patterns that keep people trapped in mediocrity and how to break out of them for good. This next part is where the real shift happens. Stay with me, because what I'm about to reveal might just change everything. Most people don't realize this, but there's a reason they stay stuck. A reason they work hard but never seem to get ahead. And it has nothing to do with talent, intelligence, or luck. It's about patterns, hidden, deeply ingrained mental patterns that run on autopilot, keeping them in the same cycle year after year. And listen, these patterns don't come from nowhere. They've been installed in you since childhood. From your parents, your teachers, society, people who may have meant well, but who pass down their own limiting beliefs without even knowing it. And if you don't become aware of these patterns, they will control your entire life. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you questioned the way you think? Because your mind is like a computer and your beliefs are the software. If your belief system is outdated, if it's programmed for scarcity, for fear, for playing small, then it doesn't matter how hard you work. You'll always be fighting against your own programming. See, most people are running on a mental operating system that was installed when they were kids. They were taught things like, money is hard to make. Rich people are greedy. Success is only for lucky people. Unrealistic. And without realizing it, they carry these beliefs into adulthood. They sabotage themselves before they even get started. They stay in jobs they hate because they're afraid to take a risk. They undercharge for their work because they don't believe they deserve more. They shrink themselves because they've been taught that standing out is dangerous. But let me tell you something, everything you believe is a choice. And if you want to create wealth, you need to rewire your mind for it. You need to unlearn the patterns that are keeping you broke, because the truth is, making money isn't the hard part. Changing your mindset about money is. Let's break this down. There are 3 major patterns that keep people stuck in mediocrity. And if you recognize any of these in yourself, you need to start changing them today. Pattern 1, fear-based thinking. This is the mindset that makes people play small. It's what keeps people stuck in dead-end jobs, in toxic relationships, in lives that don't fulfill them. And it always sounds the same. What if I fail? What if people judge me? What if I lose everything? But here's the truth, fear is a liar. Fear will tell you that taking a risk is dangerous, but the real danger is staying the same, because every second you spend avoiding fear is a second you could have spent building your dream. Wealthy minds feel fear too, but they don't let it stop them. They move forward despite fear, because they know that everything they want is on the other side of it. Pattern 2, the fraudulent feeling. You ever feel like no matter how much you achieve, it's never enough? Like at any moment, people are going to find out you're not as smart, not as talented, not as capable as they think. That's called imposter syndrome. And let me tell you something, even the most successful people in the world feel this. The difference, they don't let it stop them. They know that growth always feels uncomfortable. That self-doubt is just a sign they're stepping into something bigger. If you feel like a fraud, it's not because you're unqualified. It's because you're leveling up. And the only way to silence that voice is to keep going. Pattern 3, negative influences. Listen, you cannot afford to keep people in your life who don't believe in you. You cannot afford to let toxic voices shape your future. Because the people around you, they are either expanding your mindset or shrinking it. If you're always surrounded by negativity, people who complain, people who make excuses, people who discourage you are being programmed for failure. That energy seeps into your subconscious. It affects your confidence. It keeps you thinking small. But wealthy minds, they do something different. They curate their environment. They choose their circle intentionally. They spend time around people who challenge them, who inspire them, who make them think bigger, because they know that success is contagious. When you're around winners, you start to think like a winner. So here's what I want you to do. Take a hard look at your life. What beliefs are you carrying that are keeping you small? What fears are you letting control your decisions? What influences are you allowing into your mind? Because if you don't control these things, they will control you. And listen, we're not even close to done yet. Because in the next part, I'm going to show you something even more powerful, the exact money principles that wealthy people live by. The things they never teach you in school. And once you understand these principles, you'll never see money the same way again. Stay with me, because this next part, it's a game changer. Most people were never taught how money actually works. They go to school, they get a job, they work hard, and they hope that somehow, someday they'll be financially free. But hope is not a strategy. Wealthy minds don't hope, they strategize. See, the biggest financial mistake people make isn't just about money, it's about how they think about money. Most people trade time for money. They work a job, they get a paycheck, and then they spend that paycheck just trying to survive. It's a cycle. They work just to keep up. And the moment they stop working, the money stops too. But wealthy minds, they don't just work for money, they make money work for them. That's the secret they don't teach you in school. It's not about working harder, it's about shifting how you work, where you put your energy, and what you do with the money you make. You ever wonder why the rich keep getting richer? It's not because they're smarter. It's not because they got lucky. It's because they follow a different set of rules. They don't rely on a paycheck. They don't let money control them. They control money. So let's break this down. If you want to build real wealth, there are 3 money principles you need to live by. And once you understand these, you'll never look at money the same way again. Money principle 1, build cash flow, not just income. Most people focus on making more money, but they never ask the real question, how do I make money without constantly trading my time for it? See, wealthy minds understand that the goal is not just to earn money, but to create systems that make money for them. They focus on cash flow. They build businesses, invest in assets, and create income streams that keep flowing even when they're not working. And listen, this doesn't mean you have to be a millionaire overnight. It means you start thinking differently. Instead of just working for a paycheck, you start looking for ways to own something, because ownership is what creates freedom. A job will pay you today, but an asset will pay you forever. And the people who understand this, they get ahead. They break free from the paycheck to paycheck cycle and start building real wealth. Money principle 2, multiply. Don't just save now. This one goes against everything most people have been taught. Because we were all told to save, right? Put your money in the bank, be responsible, play it safe. But let me tell you something, saving alone will never make you wealthy. Why? Because money loses value over time. Inflation eats away at it. And if all you do is save, you're actually losing purchasing power every year. Wealthy minds don't just save money, they multiply it. They put their money into things that grow, investments, businesses, opportunities that create more income. They understand that money is a tool, and if you don't put it to work, it's just sitting there losing value. The secret isn't to work harder to save more. The secret is to make your money work for you. Money principle 3, control your emotions around money. This one is powerful because the truth is most people's financial problems have nothing to do with money. It's about how they feel about money. Some people fear money. They think wanting more is greedy. Others attach their self-worth to how much they have. Some people panic when they lose money, and others get reckless when they start making more. But wealthy minds, they see money for what it is, a tool. Nothing more, nothing less. They don't let emotions drive their financial decisions. They don't make impulse purchases because they deserve it. They don't let fear keep them from investing. They make money moves based on strategy, not emotion. And let me tell you something, if you don't master your emotions around money, you will always struggle with it, because financial freedom isn't just about numbers. It's about mindset. And the moment you start treating money like a tool instead of an emotional crutch, everything changes. How to start thinking like the wealthy if you take nothing else from this. Remember this, wealth isn't about how much you make. It's about how you think. Two people can make the same amount of money, but one ends up broke and the other ends up wealthy. Why? Because wealth is a mindset first and a bank account second. So here's what I want you to do. Start focusing on cash flow. Find ways to create income streams that don't depend on your time. Even small ones. Stop saving just to save. Learn how to invest, how to multiply your money, how to make it work for you. Master your emotions around money. Stop making financial decisions based on fear, impulse, or ego. Start making them based on long-term strategy. And listen, we're still not done, because in the next part, I'm going to show you how wealthy minds turn obstacles into opportunities, how they see setbacks differently than everyone else, and why their ability to overcome challenges is the real key to their success. Stay with me, because what's coming next is going to shift the way you see failure forever. Most people see failure as the end. They hit a wall, they lose money, they make a bad decision, and they think that's it. They stop, they retreat, they convince themselves that success wasn't meant for them. But wealthy minds, they see failure completely differently. See, the secret that successful people know is this: failure is not the opposite of success. It's the path to it. It's the price of admission. And if you can't handle failure, you'll never be able to handle success. Because here's the truth: you're going to fail at something, probably at a lot of things. You're going to lose money. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to have moments where you feel like everything is falling apart. But the difference between wealthy minds and everyone else, they don't stop. Failure is not personal. Let's date. Most people take failure personally. They fail at something, and instead of seeing it as a lesson, they see it as a reflection of their worth. I'm not good enough. I don't have what it takes. Maybe I should just quit. But wealthy minds don't think like that. They don't take failure personally. They see it as data, as feedback, as information that helps them adjust, pivot, and move forward stronger than before. They try something, it doesn't work. Good, now you know what doesn't work. That's valuable information. You lose money on an investment, fine. Now you know what to look for next time. Every single failure is a chance to get better. And if you don't fail, you don't grow, period. The hidden power of setbacks: look at any truly successful person, and you'll see the same thing. They have massive failures in their past. Wealthy minds know that every setback carries a hidden advantage if you're willing to see it. Because failure forces growth. It forces you to level up, to learn, to push yourself in ways you never would have if everything had gone smoothly. Think about it. When you grow the most, when things are easy, when everything is comfortable? No. Growth comes from resistance, from struggle, from having to fight for it. And listen, setbacks don't just test you. They expose you. They reveal who you really are. Because when everything is falling apart, when you're broke, when you're doubting yourself, when you feel like giving up, that's when you find out what you're truly made of. And that moment, that's the moment that separates the people who stay stuck from the ones who break through. The bounce back rule: wealthy minds have a rule, the bounce back rule. It's simple. When they fail, they don't sit in it. They don't waste time feeling sorry for themselves. They analyze what went wrong. They take the lesson, and then they move forward fast. Most people stay stuck in failure because they get emotional about it. They let it destroy their confidence. They let it make them afraid to try again. But people who win, they move quickly. They don't let failure linger. Because here's what most people don't realize: failure only has power over you if you stop moving. Think of it like quicksand. If you panic, if you freeze, if you do nothing, you sink. But if you keep moving, if you stay calm, if you take action, you get out. That's why wealthy minds recover from failure faster than everyone else, because they refuse to let setbacks define them. How to turn failure into fuel: think like the wealthy. You need to start handling failure the way they do. Expect setbacks. If you're doing anything great, you will fail. It's part of the process. So when it happens, don't be surprised, be prepared. Detach your emotions. Stop seeing failure as a reflection of your worth. It's just data. Learn from it. Move on. Take action immediately. The faster you bounce back, the less power failure has over you. Don't sit in it. Take the lesson and keep going. And listen, this is the part nobody tells you. Your ability to handle failure is what determines your success, and not talent, not intelligence, not luck, your resilience. Because at the end of the day, the people who make it aren't the ones who never fail. They're the ones who never quit. Now, here's where things get even more powerful. Because in the final part, I'm going to show you how to take everything we've talked about, the mindset shifts, the money principles, the way wealthy minds see failure, and put it all together into a step-by-step strategy to build your own path of success. This is where it all comes full circle. Stay with me because this last part, it's the most important one yet. So here we are. You've made it through everything, the mindset shifts, the hidden roots about wealth, the real way to think about failure. But now comes the most important part. How do you actually apply this? How do you take these insights and turn them into real life success? Because knowing all of this means nothing if you don't put it into. See, wealthy minds don't just consume information. They execute. They take what they learn and move on it immediately. And that's what I need you to do today. Step 1, master your mindset first. Before you can change your bank account, you have to change the way you think. Because every decision you make is shaped by your beliefs. If deep down you believe that money is hard to get, that success is for other people, that you're not smart enough or lucky enough, you will always sabotage yourself. You won't take risks. You'll hesitate. You'll doubt yourself. But if you shift your mindset to see wealth as something you can create, everything changes. Because here's the truth: money doesn't care where you came from. It doesn't care what your background is, what mistakes you've made, or what people have told you. What matters is whether you're willing to learn, adapt, and keep pushing forward no matter what. Step 2, stop thinking like an employee if you want to break free financially. You need to stop thinking like someone who trades time for money. Wealthy minds think in systems. They don't just work for money, they create ways for money to work for them. That means building multiple income streams so if one fails, you're still secure. Learning how to invest, because saving alone won't make you wealthy. Understanding how to create value, because the more value you bring to others, the more money you attract. And listen, I know what you might be thinking, but Will, I don't have the money to invest, or I don't know how to build income streams. That's fine. Nobody starts out knowing, but the difference is wealthy minds go and learn. The information is out there. Books, courses, mentors. You just have to commit to learning. And more importantly, you have to act on what you learn. Step 3, become unstoppable. Let me ask you something. What happens when life hits you with a setback? Do you get discouraged? Do you start doubting yourself? Because listen, this is where most people lose. Not because they're not smart enough. Not because they don't have the skills, but because they let failure break their confidence. Wealthy minds expect setbacks. They know that failure is part of the process, so they don't let it stop them. They don't sit around complaining. They don't make excuses. They find solutions. And that's what you need to do. Every time you hit a roadblock, ask yourself, what's the lesson? How do I adjust? What's my next move? Because your ability to adapt and keep moving is what will separate you from everyone else. Step 4, take action. NOW. There's no perfect time to start. There's no magic moment when everything will line up for you. The only time is now. Right now, you have a choice. You can take everything I've shared with you and let it be just another motivational speech. Or you can act on it. You can start shifting your mindset. You can start building something for yourself. And trust me, I get it, taking action is scary. You're going to feel down. You're going to hear that little voice in your head telling you, what if it doesn't work? But let me flip that on you. What if it does? What if you take that first step and it leads you to something bigger than you ever imagined? What if today is the day you decide to stop living on autopilot, to stop waiting, and to start moving on if you actually want your next move, but want you to do something right now? Pick one thing. Just one. Maybe it's finally learning about investing. Maybe it's starting that side hustle. Maybe it's cutting out the negative influences in your life. Maybe it's just shifting the way you think about money. But whatever it is, commit to it. Don't just listen. Don't just think about it. Do something. Because at the end of the day, the people who succeed aren't the ones who know the most. They're the ones who take action. And if you've made it this far, I know you're serious. I know you're ready to level up. So don't stop now. We are Wisdom Recorder, your knowledge source. If this resonated with you, hit that subscribe button, like this video, and share it with someone who needs to hear it. Because success isn't just for the lucky ones. It's for the ones who decide to go after it.